Welcome to the 51st episode of the Meeple Society, a podcast about board games hosted by two longtime role players turned avid board gamers. My name is Katy.
And I'm Greg.
On this episode, we discuss our recent play of Sleeping Gods. Yeah, I know, we're super late to the party on this one. We talk about when something is considered old, an old and new Kickstarter we just backed, and some IPs that would make great games. We dig into more games from our collection, wrapping up those that start with the letter A. Everything we played for episodes 5 and 6 on our Playing Through Our Collection series. And talk about the ins, the outs, as well as the ones that surprised us the most. Shameless plug here, but you could check those out on our YouTube channel. And Greg has yet another quiz for me. He promises this one's easier than last time, but this time I don't believe him. Period.
So, welcome to episode 51. We are coming to you from the Meeple Society game room.
On this beautiful, beautiful day in October.
It's chilly
one
here.
Of the last ones.
It's chilly here in Indy.
It's about 50 degrees.
Yep. But I know this game room isn't, I don't see it as being that big. But a lot of people say, man, it's huge and amazing. And
there's a tour of it on our YouTube channel.
Go to the YouTube
tell
channel.
us what you think. But
yep, check it out.
We had a guy come in for the furnace a couple days ago, and he probably spent 10 minutes just looking around the game room and asking questions about how it was built, and was shocked that we did all the work ourselves.
Oh, he was looking at the structure. He wasn't looking at the games. Like, I don't know any of these.
No, he was surprised. He knew there was a lot of money invested in this, but no, he was looking at the game room itself, at the decor, at the bar area that we built into an old closet under the stairs. He was shocked that we had done all the work ourselves.
Yeah. And for some of you who don't know, our game room here used to be a garage.
Yes.
The people who owned it prior to Katy's parents, and now we own it, they added a studio apartment basically above the garage.
Yeah.
And down here was a race car garage. And at one point somebody said they had cars nose to tail in here. Now I'm kind of looking, it's like maybe it's just one car and they had a lot of equipment down here to work on the cars.
Maybe.
Not sure.
It looks smaller now than it did when it was an open garage.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember the library was part of the garage back then too.
Yeah, true.
So it was bigger than what we have
here.
Well,
this is what, about 30 feet? I think it was 30
30 feet,
something like that.
Yeah.
About the main part of the room is probably 12, 13 feet wide.
Yeah, I think it was.
It's
50,
a long, narrow room.
Wide from the outer wall to the back of the closet that is now the bar. I know that.
But
anyway.
Go on YouTube, find the video, let us know in the comments on the video what you think. Is it amazing? I've seen so many other game rooms that I thought are simply amazing. They just are just the same. But let us know in the comments. So hey,
it works for us, and I love it. We spend a lot of time back here.
So, our first topic of the day, other than talking about our game room, which we love to talk about.
I was going to say, that wasn't even on the schedule. So
no, it wasn't. Is we have, I am in a board game group on MeWe. If you don't know what MeWe, it's another social media, kind of like Facebook. It's kind of like where all the people from the G+, the Google Plus system, when it went away.
Yeah, when it did.
They went to MeWe because they didn't want to do Facebook. They found MeWe, and that's where this board game group went. One of the guys there that we have actually met in person.
We gamed with them up in
Montana, in Helena or Helena. How do you pronounce it? Is it Helena or Helena?
I've heard it both ways, and I could not tell you honestly. But I always pronounced it Helena.
Okay.
But I could be totally wrong.
I think that's how they pronounce it in Yellowstone because they go there a lot in there, and I think they called it Helena.
Okay. I don't know.
But anyway, yeah. And if Phil listens to this, he'll be screaming at us on another
I'm sure.
in a message from MeWe or on something. Anyway, so he kept groaning because I kept calling games old.
Well, specifically, we got to talking about alma mater in comparison to Coimbra, and I think you called alma mater old.
Yeah.
Before realizing it's only a few years old. Well, it's not that old.
Did I say it was old, or did I say
older.
It was older?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen.
So,
but either way.
But it got me thinking, when is a game considered old? So I tried looking it up and found nothing.
I think it's all
about when it's
perception.
considered it's old. I got when it was considered a classic,
Oh,
but because somebody on I found that on BGG and somebody was talking about it. A classic game is a game that's been around for a while
okay.
and has stood the test of time. And
Okay.
one of the examples was Pandemic. It's been around for about 15 years. It's a classic.
Yeah.
I mean, is it old? But they also say Azul is a classic and it's only been around for 5 years. I see it. It's not. Is it a classic or is it a what do they call that?
Evergreen.
Evergreen game for that company.
Those are both absolutely evergreens.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, a car is considered a classic, I believe, after 20 years. But a car's made of metal and steel and carbon fiber and fiberglass and all that jazz.
Yeah, I don't
But
know. Good question.
Games are cardboard, which eventually, although I'm sitting here looking at your shadow box Game of Life, that's probably as old as we are.
Probably. It's the original version of Life, along with the original version of Monopoly. I found it.
That's not the original version.
It's not the original.
Monopoly.
Okay, good point. That's not.
It's probably from the 60s.
It was from the 50s or 60s. Yeah, that I found at Goodwill, and there were pieces missing, so I just shadow boxed it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole reason I bought it, was to shadow box it. But
so when I've heard a lot of people when they talk about old games, it's usually 5 to 10 years old.
I think most people consider older to be 5 to 10 years old.
Now, in our eyes, we've been in the hobby probably since 2014, 2013, 15, somewhere around there.
Late 13.
We
So
can't
about
really
10 years,
peg it
actually.
down.
About 10 years. Well, and I finally stopped and did the math, I think, after the last time we started talking about this. I remember taking our copy of Pandemic with us when we went to Italy in July of 2014. I remember playing Pandemic in October, though, when we had, what was it? We were going over to a friend's house to play an RPG. Somebody couldn't be there that was integral to the next part of the story, so we just decided we were going to play board games instead. You and I had not played board games in years.
Yeah, we played some with the kids when they were little.
Yeah. Well, but not this. We'd never played this kind of game.
Right.
All of our friends had started dabbling in Pandemic and Zombicide and some of those others, but we had not yet gotten into it. Well, we sat down and played Pandemic that night. I remember it being in October because they missed it because of a Halloween party their kids had to go to or something like that for school. So I know it was October. So it had to have been October of 13, which puts it exactly 10 years ago now.
Yeah, because
that we got hooked.
Because we're recording, it's
October 8th.
October 8th is when we're recording. So
yeah, so it has been 10 years. But like I said, had we not taken Pandemic with us to Italy, I wouldn't remember all that. But I know we took, and I know we went for the kids' graduations in 2014.
That's a sign of getting old. You know that? When
yes.
When you start figuring out how old things are by certain events.
That's right.
Well, Wilma had her hip surgery on this day. And anyway, so
yeah, it's been 10 years.
And I know Phil has been in the hobby for very, very long. Not saying you're old, Phil, if you're listening.
Well, we met him in 2016.
Yes.
When we did our Western swing trip on vacation.
So I think he's about our age, in his 50s.
Yeah.
So
sorry to date you, Phil.
Yeah, if he's listening.
Oh.
But he got in with a lot of war games and stuff like that back in the day. So old games to him are like from the 60s and 70s. And
I'd be curious to have him weigh in on this.
Yeah.
I'd be curious. We'll have to, if we get a response back from Phil, we'll
read his response.
We'll read his response on the next episode.
So, but yeah, to us, since we're saying that it was about 2013, a classic game is probably from around that. Although 2013 doesn't really feel that long ago.
No, it doesn't.
So although I do call games old after they've been around for
2 years.
2 years. Well, that's kind of the life of a game, because if you think some of these games that have come out that were huge when they came out, and then a couple years goes by and now they're out of print, it's hard to find.
They're hard to find. They're grail games for some people because they didn't snag them up originally. No, I agree. That is very true. And unless you luck into an evergreen.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck finding
Like,
it.
yeah, like let's take like a big smash hit of last summer was Heat.
Okay. But
How often do you see Heat being talked about now online?
I actually saw a couple posts just the other day about one guy stating that he has come to realize he's never going to get a copy of it because he can never find it in the store. And another guy saying, hey, I finally found a copy in the store. I think it is selling out as fast as it gets into the stores. That's a Days of Wonder, though.
Yeah,
Days
it's
of
gonna be
Wonder is
around for a
going
while.
to
They're
make it
gonna-
stick around for a while.
Yeah.
But there
Maybe
are a
Earth.
lot of others.
How about Earth? Earth
Earth?
was a big hit when it came out.
Well, so is Arc Nova. And again, you don't
hear a lot
about it.
Although I did see a post yesterday, like you said, just the other
the other
day, I
day.
seen a post about Arc Nova because they got the expansion.
Yeah.
Arc Nova has an expansion to it that just came out, and
And
I think
I
it was big time released at
want
Essen
to
this
pick it up.
year. So
Yes, I want to get that one. But
yeah, we've played that game how many times? Twice.
yeah, something like that. Not very often.
It's a long
unfortunately.
game. It doesn't get to the table quick as it
I've
used
got
to,
so many upgrades for it, though. I want to get it out now that I have all the
Yeah.
upgrades in. So
Right.
We'll have to get it out again.
Yeah, so I'm figuring if we go off by if you stop hearing about it, is it considered being old? So
It could be a year.
yeah, I know, but
My-
the big classics, I mean,
well, and again, there's
you
a
really
difference between classic and old, though.
yeah. Well, you don't really hear anything about, don't see a lot of the posts anymore about Foundations of Rome.
No.
You rarely see anything about Foundations of Rome anymore, and it was huge when it came out.
Yeah. Well, I think it was huge when it came out because it was huge.
Well, that too.
I mean,
it
was
around
just,
the room and not
it
walk
was
away from the
spatially
microphone.
huge.
Mm-hmm.
But
Takenu was big. Teotihuacan, if that's
Yeah.
the correct way of saying it, was big when it came out. You
Yeah.
don't really see much. Although Teotihuacan just had a Kickstarter that
yes,
for all the
their
upgraded stuff.
10th anniversary or something like that.
No, it ain't been 10 years since that's been out.
I don't know.
I
I
think
thought
they
they
just
said
did.
it was.
I think they just did a deluxe version of it to be able to fit all the expansions in the
Oh,
box.
that could be. That could be. That's okay. We
And
don't need any
upgraded
more
everything
expansions.
and new boards to fit some of the expansion boards, so you don't have all those extra boards to hook up and put in.
Yeah,
But
which would be nice, but at the same time, I don't need another big box
Planet
or
Unknown's
something.
another one that's starting to popularity's fading out. But once the expansion hits, we'll
Right.
start seeing it a lot again.
Exactly. Well, I think part of the problem with Planet Unknown is it was so hard to get. It
Right.
was such a sleeper hit that it was so hard to get. And now that people have gotten it, you don't see people clamoring for it anymore because it's out there now.
Yep.
But again, once that Kickstarter comes out, I'm looking forward to that one too. All right.
Okay.
So
So I'm figuring anywhere between 5 to 10 years, you can start
Yeah.
considering it older
older.
because it's fallen out of
It's not
the
in the
public eye.
mainstream. You're lucky to see it in a store.
right.
Although here lately we've been seeing a lot of older games. I've seen a lot of Mayfair games in the stores lately, which just shocks me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that's, like I said, distributors searching the back corners of warehouses and finding boxes of things they'd forgotten about
Right.
just because stores needed something on the shelves back when we couldn't get stuff shipped in efficiently. Oh, totally hypothesizing. I am probably totally wrong, but that's my hypothesis.
Okay. You heard it here.
Right.
So the next thing we wanted to talk about was Sleeping God.
Yes.
As Katie stated in the beginning, yes, we are super late to this party.
And I know there's been a new Kickstarter for it, or new game, new expansion, whatever.
There's
That's
no
not the one
expansion
we're talking about. We're
No,
talking
this
about
is the original base box
yes,
Kickstarter
yes.
that Mark and Jess, our old co-hosts,
Yep.
gave to us 2 years ago.
It's been at least a year, probably two. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
been a
it's
while.
set on, but we really weren't into any Ryan Lockett games.
We had not really got. It's not even so much the Ryan Lockett. I love his artwork. His artwork is gorgeous. It was more the sandbox, the
Mhm.
games that had no definitive end.
Well, plus it was a
It's how I explained it to our friends was it's a cooperative adventure sandbox.
yeah.
I think that's how I explained it to Doug and Sarah when they came
scenario.
to play with
That's
us.
what I was
Scenario.
saying. It's a scenario-based game.
It's not
Or a,
scenario,
a,
it's sandbox.
campaign game. That's
It's
what I
a
was thinking.
campaign
Campaign game.
Yes.
And we were when this came out, we were kind of like going,
We already
we
had
really
like
need
6
more
campaigns
campaign
going.
games.
Yeah.
We don't get them done, and we've been trying to finish as many as we can. We got 2 of them going right now, I think. We have now I think it's 2 because
Well,
we have
we have.
Sleeping Gods now. We just opened up last night.
Yep, we still
Played
have
with
My
Doug and
City
Sarah,
going.
and we have My City's a legacy game,
True.
but we have Welcome to the Moon that we've played 1 or 2 games out of.
Yeah.
It's considered a campaign game.
That's more of a scenario based. Well,
I think it's a campaign.
We've got a few. Matter of fact, we just started. What is it? The campaign of the It's a Wonderful World War or Peace. Is that what that one
We
is?
did, didn't we?
I want to play more of that one too. That was fun.
Okay.
Anyway, we've got a few.
So yeah,
but trying to avoid starting any new ones. We've still got some others we want to start. So it sat on the shelf for a couple of years.
We haven't even played through all the campaigns for zombie.
No, we have not.
Zombicide Black Plague.
Nope, we have not.
Let alone the original base game of,
or the space one, or we've got a lot of Zombicide to play through when we get to the Z's.
Yeah.
But
Sleeping Gods.
We got to it last night. A couple friends of ours, Doug and Sarah, they came over and they really liked the cooperative games. So we started the night out with a game of Betrayal on House on the Hill, Betrayal at House on the Hill. I think that's what it's called, at House on the Hill. I ended up being the traitor. I was Medusa. I lost. They ganged up on me. Shut up. They ganged up on me pretty good. But anyway, and I don't play the traitor well, so that was partly my fault. Had I been more on it and vicious, I might have done some damage before they got me, but whatever.
Don't let her lie. She loved it.
Whatever. Anyway.
The true Katy came out.
Oh, yeah, okay. So anyway, we did that one, and then we ended up pulling out Sleeping Gods because, again, they really like the cooperative type of games, and this is one we really wanted to try, and it was something none of us had ever played before. It took us a little bit to get going, to get through, try to figure out exactly what was happening and when. That rule book came out a lot, but once we got it going, it wasn't too bad.
No, it was fairly easy to play because it's right there on the board on the ship, exactly what you do each round.
Yeah, the iconography is not hard to figure out once you get moving.
And the combat was
the first combat was what, against a set of eyeballs or something silly.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I'm gonna try really hard not to talk about spoilers again.
Although it's like the game's how old? I mean,
it's been out there a little while, but I figure I'm not telling them where they can find the eyeballs, but just be warned they're there.
There's eyeballs.
There's eyeballs.
Came out in 2021.
Okay, so it's older. Anyway, so that one took us a little bit because we were trying to figure out exactly how it worked.
Mm-hmm. And the splash effects are the key to that game.
Yes, absolutely.
And Doug's character had a thing where he could rearrange the monsters on the board after they were already put out.
After they're put out, you have to put them out in numeric order, and then they're all side by side so that damage can spill over to the next one if you do enough.
Yeah, because you got to do your damage in a line.
Yeah, and Doug had a way that he could rearrange them. So now we could rearrange a little bit. And mind you can only do it once during a battle.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't do it repeatedly, but we could rearrange to make that splash damage a little more beneficial. And we did.
Mm-hmm.
It worked. But we really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up doing 3 battles in the 18, 19 rounds we played.
Yeah, it was a lot longer than I thought it would
18,
be. Though, but...
It did. I did not think, when I found out that we were having to pull those event cards after every single person, I thought for sure, okay, this is going to be over in a matter of an hour, hour and a half. But the turns actually ended up taking a lot longer than I thought. So the basis of a turn, you do your ship action, period. You do one ship action, you move the little ship figure, the little guy that sits on the ship itself, to one of the rooms on the ship, and you do that action. Simple as that. Then you pull your event card that affects everybody. So you do the event card. There are 18 cards in the event deck that you make up, and there's a lot more in the game. You shuffle each complexity level of the event cards, and you take 6 from each complexity level. And that's your timer for that round of the game, for that sitting. And then you go and you can do 2 actions. And the actions involve either you can do a port action. If you happen to be in a sea space with a port, you can move the ship, the overall mana core ship that you're on. You can explore. So you can go into one of the circled numbers. Basically, you pull out a book out of there's a book in the box that has all these different locations listed. You read from the location, and then you choose what you're doing.
And then it may tell you to go to another part of the book.
So some locations, like we had a choice of going into the cave or going back to the ship or talking to the people outside the cave to ask, different things. So you would decide what you're going to do, and then you go to that section of the book and read what happens next. We got ourselves into trouble more than once. Whatever. It was fun.
Yeah, it had it like I was saying last night. It had a little bit of like Agents of Smersh and Arabian Nights.
Yep.
Kind of a lot like it with the book.
Yes.
I mean, it didn't have the dice roll where okay, I'm going to do this, and this is that dice roll, so we're doing that. And then I picked that one and then go read that part. But it was, we landed on 70, so we're going to read and explore 70, so read the section for 70.
And then you make up you decide what you're doing. And
then it'll tell you where to go.
With all of these different, there weren't goals. What were they? Oh my gosh, they had the keywords on them.
Oh,
what were those called?
People are screaming at us right now.
I know, right?
That have played Sleeping Gods.
But you end up with all these different.
I will find it. Well,
okay.
You just keep talking.
Cards with different keywords on it. If you had that keyword, then you got to read a specific paragraph. If you didn't have that keyword, so for example, I don't know, we were searching for somebody and she had a specific mission she had to go do, and if we got to the location she needed to go to and we had the keyword from the bottom of her card, if we ended up at the right location, then we got to read a specific paragraph. But if that keyword wasn't an option there, then we weren't in the right place. So we had to keep looking.
Quest cards.
Thank you. Quest cards. So by the time we finished, we probably had 10 quest cards we hadn't completed.
Yeah.
And every one of them were in different directions. So we were at the point of literally having to make choices as to which one are we going to try to complete.
Yeah. Well, I do like on the quest sheet that you fill out at the end of each game, on the back it has the map.
Yep. Yes.
And it shows all the maps in the book.
Yeah. So
and then you
get an idea of where you have to go.
And you can write a note by where, okay, I think we need to go there with this keyword.
Yeah.
So you can kind of do that. And then especially if you find out where you have to go for that keyword, or if you find some places like going, do we have this keyword or this keyword or this keyword?
Yeah.
I was like, no. Well, we can write down by that place those keywords. So when we get that
need for that location,
so we can go back to it when we find that keyword.
Yeah. Which we did the first couple stops and then we didn't. But whatever.
Yep. So now we got to rediscover everything else when we get back into it.
We've got so many places we need to go now. It stopped being an issue.
Yeah, well, places, but it makes it a lot easier if we knew exactly where those keywords would go.
But it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. We're already trying to plan out a date for the next one. So hopefully Doug and Sarah can help us play through this and wrap it up. It was great. We had a good time. So even though, moral of the story here, even though we did not think this was our kind of game, and if I pulled it off a shelf and I read the back of it, I still wouldn't think this was our kind of game. It was still very enjoyable.
Yeah.
It deserves all the accolades it's gotten.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see what the other ones of his are that we've never played.
Oh,
because I've always been turned off of it because the board is a book.
Yes.
But playing this game, I'm like going, this one was really cool because as you go off in one direction, it's like, okay, I can't go any farther this one. Now we need to turn to that page, and there's the board again.
Yep.
The new board.
Continue.
It works. I just didn't like in
Jaws of the Lion.
Jaws of the Lion, where you're on this page and it's not moving until you get done with this page.
Yeah.
That one you feel more freedom there.
Yeah.
So they don't have this gigantic board out there.
Yep. And the board is big enough by splitting it into 50, how many ever pages there are in that book. There's got to be easily 20 pages in the book.
I don't know.
I'm thinking of the overall map in my head. No, it's more than that. But anyway, because of the number of pages in the book, they were able to enlarge the islands, enlarge things so they can show details. They can show the mine shaft that we have to go to so we could tell, oh, hey, look, that's a mine.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably where we need to go to for this quest. And it was. Oh, look, this is the island with 2 volcanoes on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the island we need to go to.
Yeah, and only the big cities and ports are labeled.
Right.
Nothing else is labeled on there. So
Yeah.
you're kind of guessing. It's like,
You're-
well, that
yeah.
looks like a small fishing village. Let's go there because we need
It-
to go there
it
to find
wasn't.
this. And
That wasn't it. We never did find that one. So
No.
okay. So again, moral of the story, if you haven't tried it and if this is something that you don't think is for you, if you like cooperative games, if you don't like cooperative games, this is not for you. I don't particularly like sandbox games,
no,
but I like
because
this
you're
one.
not a big Western Legends fan.
Well, that's the only sandbox game I've ever played. I don't like games that don't have a path, that don't have, this is what I need to do. Let's do it. Those are typically not my kind of game. And well, sandboxes are not typically my kind of game, but I enjoyed this one. It still gave us enough direction. Okay, here's the quest. Here's what we need to do to complete this quest. So we had a direction,
Mm-hmm.
but we had a lot of choices.
But we didn't have to do that one. We could
Right.
do another one
We
or
can do this
continue
one on
another
the
way.
to go do this one.
Right.
So yeah,
So
yeah.
So to peel back the curtain a little bit on Miss Katy here, she is very organized and very detail oriented person. So having a sandbox game like that where there's really no direction that you have to go drives her absolutely insane.
Yes. I was controlling the quest cards, so that kind of helped a little bit, I think, because I was able to say, yes, this is this one, this is this one, this is this one, and so those were sitting next to me.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that helped. I don't know, but yeah, no, it's a good one. I'm looking forward to the next game of it.
Yep.
So,
okay, another game I wanted to bring up, just released. It's in stores now. Good luck finding it because I guess it's like flying off the shelves as well. And this is Apiary.
see, I've heard nothing about this game.
I have heard
I'm gonna
this
have to
on a
look this
couple
one
of
up.
different places. I'm going to read you the description from the publisher that's
Okay.
here on BGG. In a far distant future, humans no longer inhabit Earth. The cause of their disappearance or perhaps their demise is unknown, but their absence left a void ready to be filled by another sentient species. Over the span of untold generations, one species of humble honeybees evolved and filled that void. They grew in size and intelligence and become a highly advanced society. They call themselves mellifera. I guess that's how you pronounce that. And they have made substantial technology advances. In addition to technology, they adapted from human ruins up to and including space travel. Bees in space. How can you go wrong? I mean, we have bees that are flying around, games about bees flying around pollinating flowers. We have bees making honey and selling it to animals, which is still kind of weird to me. So now we have bees in space. So in Apiary, which each player controls one of 20 unique factions. So there's plenty of replayability there.
Okay.
Your faction starts the game with a hive, a few resources, and worker bees. A worker placement hive building challenge awaits you. Explore planets, gather resources, develop technologies, and create carvings to demonstrate your faction's strength, measured in victory points, over 1 year's flow. However, the dearth quickly approaches, and your workers can take only a few actions before they must hibernate. Can you thrive or merely survive?
Well, sounds interesting.
Yes, it
And
does.
it looks great. From
It's
the
bees
pictures.
in space.
Something tells me we're looking for this game.
It's bees in space. Look at the cover of this game.
No, I agree. It's gorgeous.
Is that like a little some type of ray gun or something he's got in his hand, or what is that he has in his hand? They're going around pollinating alien planets and flowers, and they're in space.
Looks like some sort of fancy pincher. I don't know.
Yeah, it's wired because his other hand holds the wire for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, it sounds really cool. And yes, I think we need to look for this game. Who's the designer? Connie Vogelman? Oh, it's Kawachi Mori's the artist. So it's going to have good artwork. And it's a Stonemaier game, so you know the components are going to be really nice. So
Yeah,
So it could be Stonemaire's next big thing.
maybe. We'll
So
see.
yeah, it sounds really cool.
Yeah.
If you've got it, let us know if it's any good. I'm gonna look for some gameplays of it.
All
So
right.
games that we've recently backed.
Okay, we've only backed one,
Only backed one since then.
and it was $20.
Yes, this was the transmissions.
Actually, it was $10.
It was basically an upgrade pack for backers.
It was an upgrade
backers?
pack for previous owners. You didn't
Yeah.
even have to be a backer to get this. You just had
Right.
to previously own the game.
Correct.
So, well, I guess you didn't have to own the game to get it, but it certainly helps because all it is the tiles.
It's all the pipe tiles.
It's all of the new tiles plus
the new rule book.
the new rule book.
Because they changed some rules
Yep.
on how the pipe scoring and the fact that you need electricity now to
lay
connect
pipes. Yeah.
because you need electricity to weld. So
Yeah.
it makes sense. And
Makes
now
sense.
electricity is a little bit more needed in the game now.
Okay.
So everything you buy now or do now is going to take electricity.
So you got to get that
Because the items and
electricity.
everything, when you buy that, you need electricity.
Yes.
So
Yeah, no, I'm curious on this one.
yeah, and they redid the
rules.
2-player rules.
Yes.
Because now you
That's-
have more items and stuff out now.
Yeah.
Instead of just a few, you have, I think, instead of like 2, you now have 3 items to choose from now. So
Okay.
it makes the game
We
go a
didn't
little
say
bit
what game it
longer.
was we were talking about, right?
Transmission.
Transmissions. I don't remember if we actually said that.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
But this is the game Transmission. This is the game with the cool little
robots.
And one of the upgrades you can get for that is they can now be
metal.
metal. They are no longer offering the standees.
Nope.
All the games now come with the plastic,
The robot, the minis.
the mini
They're
chest.
like 3-inch minis. They're
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Mhm.
Super detailed, super adorable.
Yeah, now you can get them in metal if you want to.
Yes. I didn't do that.
Yeah, we don't need to do
No. But we do have 2 copies of it, one in each collection. So I
And
did
we
order
backed it
2
twice.
sets of the rules and new
Mhm.
tiles. So,
So
but that was it. That's all we've backed this last
yeah.
2-week period.
But another one I have been looking at
Yes.
right now is the Night Cage expansion, which
Yeah.
we haven't pulled the trigger on because we haven't even gotten all the other monsters from Night Cage played yet.
No,
We haven't tried it.
Every time we've played, we've been
We've been
teaching
it,
somebody new.
so we haven't gotten to get into the more advanced parts of the Night Cage though. But this
Yeah.
expansion looks so cool.
It does look good.
It's basically all the pits that are happening in the game are now have something to do with
yes.
in the game because there is a new monster down in the pit. I
Yes.
can't read
You know-
shallows or something like that.
The hollow.
The hollows.
Shrieking hollow.
Yeah.
You no longer just fall
Through.
to the edge of the board.
Right.
You now fall into this pit and have to get out of the pit before the hollow comes up. And if the hollow does come up, then you immediately go back to the main board. But yeah, he's not nice.
Well, he comes up and he blows everybody. He
huge.
comes out and he blows out everybody's candles.
Yes. He is huge. He's literally, what is it, 4 or 3 columns wide?
Well, he has his own board to start
Yes.
off with.
Yes.
And you can actually climb down into the pits now
Yeah.
to keep him at bay with your candle. Just
Yeah.
don't lose your light. But
Yeah.
so it looks kind of interesting. Adds a little extra twist to everything. So I'd love to be able to play with all the other monsters in the base game first.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure exactly how long this still had on
11
Kickstarter.
days.
Still has 11 days.
Yeah. From the time of recording, it has 11 days.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm curious about
might have to wait and see when it comes out
it.
into the stores.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it'll be, like you said, it'll
Or
be
pick
out
it
in
up at
stores.
the
and-
next convention we go to.
Yeah, that's how we picked up the first game.
Yeah,
So
we
the
bought
original
that
game.
with Dice Tower West, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
On
Yeah.
the referral of the designer himself. He says, go play that game. You'll probably want to buy it.
Yeah.
We ended up buying it.
Yeah, we were talking to him about
The pieces for the spill.
the spill. Yes.
Because they had
yes.
more advanced or deluxe pieces or something
The
like that.
wood pieces
The wood
versus the
pieces,
cardboard. Yeah.
You never got back with him.
I never
because he
did get
said,
back
just
with him."
contact me after this, and I could probably send you some because I'm sure I've got some laying around, and you never contacted me.
No, I need to do that.
We lost out on that. Okay, but yeah, that is the Night Cage Shrieking Hollow expansion.
Yes.
So it's what? How much is it? It is
25
$25
for the
for
base.
just the base game.
For the base, yes.
Rising Terror is the deluxe version featuring acrylic tiles and a neoprene playmat.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
But then I'd need all that for the base game.
Right.
That doesn't work.
Well, you have for the newly imprisoned for 65, which is standard edition of the Night Cage base game and the new expansion. So that's the game in that.
That's the game in, yeah.
So the all-encompassing darkness is everything deluxe is $145. So that's the Night Cage base game, the Shrieking Hollow base game, deluxe double-sided base game neoprene mat, plus one more thing. So yeah, so 145 you can get the deluxe version of the game,
Everything
and
all
the
deluxified.
expansion, have it all deluxified, and
I don't need to spend that much money on it.
the expansion itself, though, like I said, is $25.
Yeah, I could definitely live with. So,
and it's due to deliver May of 2024.
Not too bad.
No. Okay, so
all
that is our Kickstarter stuff. So we're going to go into our ins and outs of the board game. We're talking about episode 5 and 6 of our Playing Through Our Collection videos.
Okay.
So what did we play in episode 5?
Right. So for those who have not ever checked out our Playing Through Our Collection, what we are doing is literally started from the numbers and playing all the way through the Z's, not 100% in alphabetical order, but as much in alphabetical order as we can. So we are currently ready to film episode 40, or almost ready to film episode 40. We have a few games left to play to do that. But we've decided that we're going to go back, and for the podcast purposes, we're just going to kind of talk through some of them and talk about the ones that surprised us the most, one that we kept, one that we sold out of each of the videos that we did. You can always go back, as I said in the beginning, go back and watch all of these. Shameless plug here, but they're all out on our YouTube channel, all set up in a playlist. So you can start from the beginning if you want to. And we do explain quite a bit there as to why we have such unusual games in our collections. We do
unusual?
Yes. Yes. We do have 2 collections, one that we consider our collection that sits in the game room, and one that we consider our travel collection that we take to events. And that has a lot of mass market games as well as a lot of hobby games. The hobby game section is definitely growing. But
yeah, as they leave our collection, they usually end up over there. Some of them have not made it there. They just went straight to the
definitely left
leave
the
collection.
Yeah. Okay. So episode 5. On episode 5, we played. I'm going to run down the games we played, and then we'll talk about what we thought. All right. So we played Amun Ray, Apples to Apples. Way too many versions of Apples to Apples. Regular, sour, and Disney and kids. We played Arch Rival. Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Arkham Horror, both the card game and the board game. Architect, The Hunt for Stolen Treasures. Ascension, a lot of versions of Ascension. We played the base game, the Apprentice Edition, Realms Unraveled, Skulls and Sails, and Valley of the Ancients. That is it for episode 5. Episode 5 was a small episode.
It sounds like.
Yeah, it was very small.
So our end game.
All right. So the end game was, we chose Ascension.
Yeah.
This is a card game we very much enjoy.
And we found it because we were looking for something to play, and it was like, we need this. It was before we even started this whole videos thing.
Yes.
We was like, yes. I want to play some games over there. So I went over and I found that we had the 2-player starter
Apprentice Edition of Ascension, which is a little 2-player pack. Yep, that's all it was. So we played it, and we were kind of hooked.
Yeah. To where you went out and bought the base game.
Yep, we bought the base game, and then we discovered there were
expansions.
More. They're not even expansions.
Yeah, they're all standalone.
They're all standalone games. They're just slightly different rule sets for each one, because they all add something just a little different.
Yeah, like the Pirates one has that board where you're moving the pirate
skulls and sails
around. Yeah, where you're moving the pirate ship around, where you can get do different things in different areas.
Yes. So Ascension is a deck building game. It's
a Dominion that has a battle, basically.
Yeah, it plays very similar to most deck building.
Yeah.
Legendary, Dominion, trains, a lot of your base deck builders.
But I think it's more like Dominion.
Yes. Where you have cards, certain things on each card give you the ability to either fight or to purchase. And you can either fight monsters that are out in the main card row, or you can purchase things out of the card row. Done. So I don't know. We have so many different deck builders, but this one we enjoyed it. It was a slightly different genre. So all of those did stay. We didn't actually end up getting rid of any of them, including the Apprentice version. All right, so the game that left, and this is going to shock a few people, and I'm sorry, but we did end up actually selling. We sold it to a friend of ours whose son really enjoys this game, but this was Arkham Horror, the card game.
Yeah.
It
just did not go over with us that well.
We even had bought a couple of expansions already. We had the player mats that we'd gotten as a Christmas gift. We just couldn't get into it, which is sad because the storyline is all there. We've heard everybody rave about it. It just did not click with us. So
we're not huge Cthulhu fans.
We're not huge Cthulhu fans. We do enjoy the base game of Arkham Horror. It doesn't come out very often. Matter of fact, it's that season. It might very well come out in the next month. Who knows? But the card game just never hit. So we did end up getting rid of that one. And it was one of those games that we thought about putting it in the other collection, but it was one of those games that, one, it's a scenario based. So you can't just sit down and play. Well, you could sit down and just play one, but I didn't want to have to reset that game every time somebody took it out and then realized it was too big for what they had time for at a high school event. So we went ahead and sold it. The game that surprised us, there was actually two on this one. One was Arch Rivals. This is a dexterity game where you are building an archway and you're rolling a dice, and that tells you how many of these little acrylic pieces you have to put into different pieces of the archway, and you play until it crashes.
Yep.
And we don't typically like dexterity games. This one was.
What are you talking about?
So much fun though. We actually laughed pretty good at this one. But that's a fun one. It's really hard to find, but it's a good one. Another one is the one that surprised us the most, though, was Amun-Re.
Yes.
And it's actually,
this was on the list to leave the collection.
This we were sure was leaving the collection altogether. And then we played it for the A's. We had a couple friends come over and because it's a 3+. So we had never played it. We'd had it for probably 5 years, still in shrink. And I don't remember who came over.
We got it in like 2019 out of a mystery box.
Did we? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, still, we'd had it for a few years. Anyway, I want to say it was Connor and Adil came over.
I know Adil was here for sure because he absolutely loves the game.
So Connor and Adil came over one evening, and this is one of the games we played. And we ended up really liking it. Now, this is before the deluxe edition got released on Kickstarter last year sometime, I think it was. We did not end up booking or buying that one because we'd only played our version a couple times. But super fun game. This is played, okay, and I haven't played it in about a year now, so I'm going to try to remember how this goes. You play in stages, and each stage, everybody has control of certain areas of the board, and you're putting properties out. You're putting, oh my gosh, you're putting out the pyramids to make those areas more lucrative, and then everything resets and you have to redraw what areas you're getting. And of course, you're going for the ones that other people really spent time making more lucrative the time before. You end up getting points based on what's in each of the areas that you control by the end of the game. It was really interesting. And I know I probably did not even cover a quarter of what this game
but
entails.
like I said, it's been about a year since we played it.
We only played it once or twice, but it was really nice. The hard part is it's a 3+ player game.
It's still in our collection.
It
so
is.
It's still here in the game room, but
yeah, it is. Well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but unfortunately it is a 3+, so it does not come out often. All right, so that was episode 5. Episode 6 wrapped up the A's. So episode 6, let's see what was on episode 6 playlist. All right, so we played Architects of the West Kingdom, Asgard, Astro Boy, Automobiles. Now, Automobiles is in the planes, trains, and automobiles line. That's a Days of Wonder, isn't it?
No.
Who did that one?
Just a second. I'll be able to tell you. It's right behind me. It is AEG.
AEG. Okay. Anyway, trains has always been one of our favorites. So, and automobiles was the last one we were missing. We had to get it. Anyway, we also played Ave Roma. Ave Roma is a really neat one with a round board.
Yes, this one we found at Half Price Books.
Yes.
And it was the Kickstarter
Yeah, it
deluxe
is.
edition of it too.
And this is one of the first games we ended up buying our
And actually,
Lazy Susan for.
Yeah, and this was actually before we even knew what the heck Kickstarter was when
Yeah.
we found this. So it was early in the
It was
game
early.
collection.
All right. So we played a bunch of Axis and Allies. We had found copies of what was it, Europe and Pacific at a Goodwill out in California.
We found like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, because we played
there.
1941. D-Day.
That one was one we'd already had.
We already had 41. We found D-Day, Europe, and Pacific at a Goodwill out in
and those
California.
were all the Avalon Hill versions.
Yes.
Too.
So we played all those. Let's see. We also played all of the Azules. Azul, the regular Azul, Stained Glass of Sintra, Summer Pavilion, and Queen's Garden. And we also got in a play of Arc Nova. This is right after we bought Arc Nova. I got it for my birthday that year.
Yeah.
So.
But we've played it twice.
Arc Nova?
Yes, because we played it once together, and then we had people come over and play it.
I remember playing with Kat and somebody else.
Kat and Adil, and I think Connor was here too. I don't remember.
Possibly, I don't remember. Anyway,
I'm sure you have it in your book someplace.
It's in my book. Yeah.
Your game Bible.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so the game that we for sure 100%. Yep, it is staying. Is Arc Nova.
Of course.
Of course, I love.
You pay that much money, it better stay for at least a little while.
Exactly, and I have upgraded it with acrylic boards and
which you haven't
acrylic
played with
overlays.
yet.
With the overlays.
Oh, okay.
But we have not played with.
Oh, the updated tiles
updated,
and all for all the buildings.
Yeah,
and
I've got building pieces,
animals
for So anyway, we haven't played with all of that yet. So we're going to be playing with that soon. I'm just warning you. I'm going to play it solo. There we go. I'll just play it solo.
There you go.
To heck with you. Anyway, the game that left the collection. This one, there was actually not a lot that left the collection. Now we did get rid of a couple of yes, we did get rid of a couple of the Axis and Allies because we did not feel we needed 4 of them. But the first one that 100% it's leaving was Astro Boy.
Astro Boy Saves the Universe game.
This was a real weird.
Okay. So it was ages 7 and up.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it came out in 2004.
Yeah.
So I consider that as an old game. Well,
yes.
Right there. I mean,
that's not enough to make it leave the collection. The problem was it was a roll and move. It was a collection.
Yeah. Which was really weird because once you get a certain amount of stuff in one area, you don't ever have to go back to that area. There's no way to lose the stuff. But yeah, it's an uncredited designer, and it's Briar Patch was the publisher.
It was just part of the problem for me anyway was the production of it.
Yeah.
The boards were all starting to warp. They were super thin. And there's no fixing that.
No.
So, and it was all turnstiles. That was the only interesting part of it is that each of there's 4 sections of the board and they all turn. So the paths were constantly changing as to where you needed to go, which was fine, except that all the boards were warped.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that one left. I think I ended up just throwing it away. It was that bad.
It has a 3.6 rating on BGG, and it has a 2.0 weight.
Wow. Well,
for the complexity. So I don't even know if it's a 2. I think it's more like a 1 or a 0.5.
5-year-old, maybe a 2.
Yeah,
but
2 to 4 players, 20-minute playing length.
Yeah.
Average age is 7.
Yeah.
Community, no votes.
Yeah, it was not good. But anyway, this was a hard one. We never actually found a surprise in this one. We knew Arc Nova was going to be good. We knew what we were getting into with the Azules and the Axis and Allies and Architects of the West Kingdom and Asgard and all of those. So we really didn't have a surprise in this one.
No.
So yeah, that's episode 6. So next podcast, we will be digging into the bees with probably episodes 7 and 8. Yeah, the bees took 5 episodes as well. So,
holy crap.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to be a while before we get to a easy one. We'll catch up eventually, and then we'll be doing it episode by episode.
Yep.
But
so that is our ins and outs. So let's dive into the mailbag.
Okay.
We have another question.
We did.
This came from Jeff Hammer. If you've seen our
He was
24-hour
here.
marathon and our 12-hour marathon, Jeff was here going by the name Hammer. Okay, so anyway, so Jeff's question is, what IP would you like to see get an official board game? Okay. He actually answered it himself,
Okay.
but he's still wanting our opinion. His
Sure.
answer was, my answer would be any Wes Anderson movies. I don't know who Wes Anderson
I mean,
is.
sorry,
I'm
Jeff.
sorry, Jeff. We're not big movie goers
No,
unless
we're
it's like
not.
action or with you love stories or whatever, romance.
Yeah.
But he said The Life Aquatic. I looked this up. It had Bill Murray in it. I don't know much about the movie. I just noticed that Bill Murray was in it.
I don't know. I've never heard of it.
Mr. Fantastic Mr. Fox, I believe, is a cartoon.
Oh,
or
yeah, I've
anime
never heard of it.
or something like that. Those would probably make the best themes, or Grand Budapest Hotel.
That one at least I've heard of. I've not seen it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, he just thinks the artwork would be next level. So I sat here and thought about that. I was like, IPs that I would love to see. I was like, most of the IPs I'd love to see games already have games.
Exactly. That was what I thought when I first saw the question.
So then I thought, well, what about Pacific Rim? They do a lot of space themed games already, and Pacific Rim is basically large battle bots or power armor stuff where two people have to join together. Their souls almost have to join together to control these bots and whatever their actions are.
I think I've seen bits and pieces.
Kind of like
that.
in the Power Rangers when they form all together and they do these actions, or actually not that Voltron more than Power Rangers. But their actions is what the bot's doing. And they're fighting sea monsters. And it's way in the future and everything.
I have seen that movie.
Yeah.
Or parts of it.
I've seen parts of it. I have not actually sat down and watched all of it, though. It reminds me a lot about the RPG game of Rifts.
Yes.
With all how big.
That's what I thought about when the bits and pieces of the movie I've seen. That's what I thought about. But I think
it would probably make a pretty cool game.
I think that would.
Really, really interesting miniatures. Yeah. It'd definitely be a miniatures based game.
Yes, I would have to be.
Possibly a campaign game or a
that would be fun.
Player versus player kind of team game. Some people playing the sea monster, some people playing the bots or the power armor people or whatever they were called.
Okay.
Like I said, I haven't really gotten into the movie that far. I've seen bits and parts, but I've always been interested in watching it. I just haven't. I've actually got it recorded on the TV. I just haven't sat down and watched it yet.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have to sit down and watch it.
Do that one night.
But I think this one would be really cool. I think they could do a lot with this IP.
Yeah.
Because I think there is like 2 or 3 movies of this. So
really?
Yeah. But I think it looks really cool. And I don't know if there's a video game on this or not. I haven't looked that far into it though. But yeah. But I do think, I mean, they've done a Godzilla movie, and these guys are fighting the sea monsters, and basically the unit was disbanded by the government. It's no longer back to the government, but then at the end I think the government needed them to come back and fight these sea monsters. So or what they called them, something, it's whatever they called Godzilla and all that. But I looked it up. It says as a war between humankind and monstrous sea creatures wage on, a former pilot and a trainee are paired up to drive a seemingly obsolete special weapon in a desperate effort to save the world from the apocalypse. So it looks really cool. So I really want to see the rest of this movie.
Yeah,
like I said, I think that would make a really, really cool IP for a game. Another one I thought about, since we've gotten into watching the series now, we're getting ready to finish up episode 2 or season 2 of The Wheel of Time.
Yes.
Now they have games already, but they have a mud. I had to look up what mud was.
A mud.
A lot of people know what mud is. It's a multi-user dungeon, usually that are in a virtual world.
Oh.
So it's online, basically.
Okay.
And they also have they have an
RPG.
They have an RPG, and they also have a MMORPG. Yeah, MMORPG game, which is a massive multiplayer online role-playing game.
Oh, all right.
So they don't have a board game for it yet. So they did
right.
Yeah, I mean they did Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but none of those are good. Although it could be a card game. I'm thinking of
the One Ring.
Oh,
Lord of the Rings, and that's a very popular game, lady.
I guess I'm thinking of that one we have in the other room that just really.
Yeah, that one was absolutely bad. That one where
good. Okay, let's phrase that. I haven't played any good ones other than some of the card games.
Okay, I was gonna say, Some of the Lord of the Rings are big,
Okay, I'm sorry.
but I could
Don't
see
at
them
me.
doing some cool things with the Wheel of Time series for board games.
Yeah, I think
those
that'd be a
would
great one.
definitely could be legacy games or scenario games because they could do each book
Yeah. Oh, there's so many
for
books to draw
expansions. They
from.
start with
It's
the base
crazy.
game and then go with expansions of the different books as the scenario builds.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, there's so many books. And I've read,
and I can
oh my
imagine the
gosh.
artwork and they get it like Ian O'Toole artwork on that.
Oh my gosh.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I've read through,
Or
I think I
or
stopped at,
Boswell.
I think I stopped at book 9 because I was waiting for 10, 11, and the rest of them to come out. And it was just taking forever. And I never did pick them back up. I need to go back and start at the beginning and reread the whole series, especially now that the show is out. The TV program is out on Amazon.
Yeah, because I never read the books.
No,
I'm learning.
You tried.
I know about it through you.
Yeah,
I started to read it the time we were heading to Scotland, and I got through like 3 chapters, and that's as far as I got, and never picked it back up because it got past some of the more exciting spots at the very beginning of the book, and then got into kind of like travel and parts, and I was so bored with it. Well, books have to keep me engaged.
Jordan is very much he's a very descriptive writer, or what I was. So if you, it's not all about the action; it's about making that world come to life.
Yeah.
So that you literally can picture everything. And if you can't, if that does get boring. I even was getting bored for a while. I would skim through certain sections like, okay, I don't care what color the trees are. I really don't.
But it's scene setting.
It is. And he's very good at it. But yeah, it gets a little dry every once in a while.
And you've read the entire series, so
no, I've only read up through book 9. There are 13 books.
Oh, okay. So you hadn't read
the whole series,
right? But you hadn't read when Brandon Sanderson took over.
No.
To finish it up.
No, he only did the last 2 books, to my understanding.
Your brother would be the person to talk to about that because he's read the whole entire series.
As far as I know, he's read the whole series. Okay. Yes. Matter of fact, they were asking us the other day whether we liked the series, the TV show, because Joe was afraid to start watching it for fear that they would ruin it. And I've heard some people say they did go off the rails a little bit with it, and I don't know. I haven't read the books in 25 years. It's been a really long time, but I'm enjoying the series.
Yes,
I think they did really well with the casting.
Yeah.
I don't know about this whole the second Matt yet because they did have to replace the
spoilers
gentleman
if you
who
haven't
played
watched
Matt.
it yet.
True. Sorry. They did have to replace Matt from the first season into the second season, but there's a viable reason for it, so I don't begrudge the gentleman for stepping away. But oh my gosh, he was good.
Yes, he was. The first one, yes.
I am totally loving all of the acting in this. They're all really good. So, but yeah, great series. I would love to see this as a board game.
in the series, the difference in the mats is like when they had to replace Dumbledore and Harry Potter. Kind of a difference of like that. There's a big difference between the 2 actors.
Oh yeah, there's a very big difference between the 2 actors.
There's a pretty big difference in the way the original Matt played Matt and the way this person played Matt.
Well, okay, and in this new guy's defense, the original Matt was slowly going insane.
This new guy's
and this new guy is past the insanity, that he's at a time period where he's past the insanity, so we're not seeing that insane piece anymore.
Right.
So he's back to normal. So I would be curious. He's more like Matt from the original couple episodes before he picked up the dagger.
Trying to figure out what the newest guys who plays Matt now is Barney Harris. The old Matt was Donal Finn.
Yeah.
I haven't really heard of
I have
one
never seen either one of them in anything, but the original guy who played Matt Calhoun was phenomenal actor. I was very impressed with his abilities. So, but yeah, no, I like them all. I think they did a great job with the casting on everybody, Rand and Moraine and just everybody.
Yep. Okay, so we're talking about the series now.
We're talking about the series.
We're talking about IP for board games. So do you agree though? Does Wheel of Time fit the bill? You thinking it would be one that would be interesting to have
that would
IP
make it
for games?
If it's just a deck builder. Did you see that as a deck builder, kind of like Wheel of Time, or not Wheel of Time, but I don't know. I think it would make a great IP for a game.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
But for an actual game, yeah, I could really say I'm deck building. I'm still trying to think. How do you do a deck builder with Wheel of Time? Although, how did you do a deck builder for Lord of the Rings? Though,
yes,
but
and they did it. Several of them.
yes. Mm-hmm.
But no, I think it would make a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I would be very curious to see what somebody could come up with on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great IP.
So,
But my fear is that the book series is so old, it's going to depend on what this TV series does.
right, yeah, that's why I'm hoping if they was to do it, they'd have to build it off of the TV series. So
yeah.
Yep. So there you go, Jeff. We said Wheel of Time and Pacific Rim. If
Yeah.
you guys agree to it with us, let us know. Or if you have a different one, let us know.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's that time again, Katie. It is board game trivia show time. We need like a music intro for our show.
That's all on you.
I know. Here we go. I promised you it was easy. I even told you the games I was going to talk about.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So,
okay, go ahead.
Here is the first question. Pandemic is the game that introduced us into the hobby around 2013. Look, I even got it. It's 2013. I even have it wrote down.
Wow.
Over the years, we've played the game 22 times.
Okay.
What is the only city on the board that can be accessed from 6 different neighboring cities? What? It's probably the hardest one, I think.
Gosh, it's got to be somewhere in Europe. It's one of the black cities, I think. Right? It's one of the ones in Asia. There, it's not Asia, because those are the red cities. It's Eastern Europe. Those are the black cube cities. I can picture it's like Istanbul in that general vicinity, but I don't know which city exactly.
Name a city.
Istanbul. Okay. I don't know.
That is correct. Istanbul is correct.
Oh, I can think of from that area.
That's the only city on the original game that can be accessed by 6 cities.
Oh, so yeah, you definitely didn't want that one to blow up on you.
No,
because it was going everywhere.
Yep. Okay, in the game Earth.
Okay.
You just recorded a playthrough of this, so you've been studying
the rules breakdown of it.
So you did a rules breakdown of it. So you were studying the rules book very closely to learn every nooks and crannies of the game. So this should be one of the easiest questions. So in the game Earth, when someone chooses the planting action, can you draw a card if you don't plant?
Yes.
Correct. You can.
Yes. It specifically says you can draw a card even if you are unable to plant.
Okay.
I don't know why you would. You'd go to the one that lets you draw 4 cards, not 1, but okay.
Well, it's the following mechanism. If you can draw the card and plant.
Yes, the following mechanism is. But
maybe you don't need any more cards, or you needed a card, but you didn't want to plant.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because you're looking for that one certain card to go in this one certain area.
Well, no, there's another one that lets you just draw 4 cards and keep them all.
Yeah, I know.
So
anyway, moving on. The game is Planet Unknown.
Okay. That one I know. All right.
There are corporation boards for each player.
Okay.
What are the tracks named?
Oh, Lord. Okay. Oh, gosh, you're going to make me think. There's 5 tracks.
Yes.
There is, and they're not going to be in order here, but there is technology, water. What are the green ones called? Crud. Technology, water, your rover. Oh, darn it. I can't remember the first 2. The one that gives you the cards has a little biosphere on it. I can't think of the name of the track though. It's the black track. I can't remember the black or the green one. The green's like horticulture or something. It's green. It's green and black. And the blue, red, and clear. Or not clear. I think
It's gray.
gray. Yeah, the other one's gray. I know one has the biosphere on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you the cards.
Mm-hmm.
They're called Eco something or other. I don't remember.
You don't remember them all?
No.
So you had water, rover, and tech.
Yeah,
From left to right, they go Civ,
that's it.
water,
Okay.
biomass,
I was so close.
rover, and tech.
Okay. See, biomass was the one I could not. That's the green one.
That's the green one.
That's the one that gives you the plant, the green
So
squares.
the single square to put
Yeah.
in your little hole.
And the sieve is the one with the little biosphere on them.
Yes, that gives you all
The
the civilization upgrades and stuff. Yes.
Okay. Well, I got 3 out of 5.
Question 4. The spill has 6 sea life animals that you try to rescue. Name them.
I knew you were going to say that. Okay. There are pelicans and turtles and dolphins. Oh, crud. Pelicans, turtles, dolphins. What are the others?
I asked you that question. You're not asking me the question.
I'm trying to picture the board. Why can't I come up with any others? Pelicans, turtles, dolphins. There's not whales. It's not regular fish. There's seals. No, there's no seals or sea lions in there. Oh my gosh, I am drawing a total blank. I'm gonna smack myself here when you read them off.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how you cannot remember stuff when you're put under pressure.
Right. You
This
got
is
about
harder
the same
than it
percentage on this
seems.
one that you did on the Planet Unknown one so far.
3 out of 5. I'm 3 out of 6. It's actually worse. Anyway, and the other two, at
Oh,
least I
true.
knew what they were. I just didn't know their official names.
Mm-hmm.
So there, I should still get partial credit for knowing what they were and their colors. Anyway.
I'll give you 0.75 on that one.
Okay. So then on that one,
You're only
I
on
like,
a 0.5 on this one.
oh yeah, absolutely. Crud. Pelican was the only bird. I can't think of anything else. What else is there?
There are octopus, seahorse, dolphins, sea turtles, stingray, and pelicans.
Okay.
So you are sitting at 3.75, right? No, 3.25. You're 3.25 points right now.
How many questions has there been?
4.
There's been 4 questions already?
Yeah, you got
Okay.
first one and the second one right. You
Okay.
got 75%. I gave
Okay.
you 75% on that one, and you only got 50% on this one. So,
Okay, fine.
so
Whatever.
you're 3.25.
Whatever.
So the final one is the game in the footsteps of Darwin.
Okay.
You pick a tile from the road Darwin's ship is next to. What's the
Right.
name of the ship?
Just remember that.
It says it in the game.
What place in the rule book? Probably in the description. I have no idea. I have
It
no
is the
clue.
Beagle.
Okay, yeah, I'd never guessed that. Now you asked me what the name of the ship is in Sleeping Gods. I can tell you.
Well, we just played that
It's the
game last
Metaphor.
night. So you end up at 3.25. It's the best one you've done so far.
So far.
So far. There's more to come.
Okay.
So I hope you guys got them. Let us know how well you did on the
Lord knows
on
I
the
gave
quiz.
enough time, didn't I?
Yeah, except for the last one. I answered it for you pretty quickly, though.
Yeah.
But so this is going to bring us to the end of episode 51. We would like to remind you we have episode 40 playing through our collection video dropping on a YouTube channel.
Dropping. We haven't even recorded it yet.
It's still coming out.
Okay.
Also, Katy is doing a requested rules breakdown for one of her favorite games, Earth. If there is a game you'd like her to do a rules breakdown for, you can contact us on our Facebook group page, on Discord, or email us at meeplesociety@mail.com. So be looking out for those videos. We are also now putting the podcast on our YouTube channel. So this will make it easier for you to comment on the episodes. Right now, you just put up episode 48.
I just released 49 right before we started.
Just released 49. So you can get 48 and 49 if you haven't listened to them and comment on there. But also, please go to iTunes and give us a rating. Also, if you want to follow us on social media, just follow the link in the show notes. There you'll find links to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, and our merch shop. Or you can contact us directly at meeplesociety@mail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next one.
On this episode, we discuss our recent play of Sleeping Gods. Yeah, I know. We're super late to the party on this one. We talk about when something is considered old. Take 3.
Justin and Jackie might land before you
I
get
know.
through this. They land in 22 minutes.
Stretch.